Hello and welcome everyone to week 8 of the HPL. My name is Heathen Hammer. Alongside me right here is Gadarian. How you doing today, buddy?
Brother, doing fantastic, man. I'm all pumped up. Utah Beach. Let's get it.
Yeah, indeed. And today's really a David versus Goliath matchup. Of course, we have Core coming in from first place, fresh off their win against the best of the Americas division in Redline. And we have PKKA. They have yet to take a single capture point this time during the HPL. So it's really David versus Goliath out there uh,
Sure.
this afternoon. What do you think of these two teams? How they've done so far in the competition, and maybe what they're gonna do today for us?
Core has done nothing but spectacular. I mean, there's just no other way to describe it. They've won every single match by 5-0,
Mhm.
and they've gotten people out of there in like 30 minutes or less. They're the top team in all of Hell Let Loose, in my opinion.
Yeah.
PKKA has, at times, like you've seen, shown life and they've shown improvement.
Mhm.
Last week, it wasn't a great week for them.
No.
Today, I'm really interested in seeing what they do because this was the same team. They played the same teams, I should say, that played on week one.
Yeah.
We played week one on Utah Beach, and
Mhm.
I think it was 16 minutes. 16 minutes Core took to get them out of there. PKKA
Yeah.
is
Oh.
looking to hopefully improve upon that 60-minute whitewash.
So
Um,
yeah, it was a whitewash, but it was one of the most beautiful attacks I think I've ever seen in Hell Let Loose. And it all stemmed from Core setting up a really nice garrison in front of Drowned Fields, and essentially you had the whole team respawn. It was a beautiful timing attack. The whole team from Core respawned. They had 6 or 7 guys with bazookas. They pre-fired every single point where there could be somebody with a machine gun sitting, or,
yeah,
or somebody like any defenses. They pre-fired. They threw their nades, and the fight was over in maybe 10-15 seconds. It was just a beautiful masterclass of planning and strategy and execution. So I mean, I'd love to see another thing like that today. Time will tell before if we're going to see something like that, but it was really nice the first time these two teams met.
yeah. I mean, Core.
Mm,
I mean, what can you say? I mean, they literally have rehearsed this to the point where it's so scripted. They know exactly what to do, and if you
yeah.
give them what they're looking for, if you give them the look they want, they're gonna roll you quick. But if you can pump the brakes on these guys just a little bit and cause them just to pause momentarily to actually assess what's going on,
Mm.
you could potentially stop the steamroll. And that's what I'm hoping to see from PKKA.
We'll
If
see.
they set up that back, I'm hoping to see they set up back garrisons
Yeah. So.
and they didn't do
Mm,
that last time. That's how the roll happened real quick. I'm not saying they're going to hang in there and really challenge Core, but I'm like,
yeah.
I guess you want to see improvement.
Yeah, no. So PKK has been improving steadily since the start of the HPL. Now, last week was a little hiccup, and I think we didn't see much of an improvement because they were mostly playing defense the whole game. We didn't see that attacking squad that has at points almost put them up 4-1. I mean, I think it was against 38th where they took the midpoint first, and then they were about to go up 4-1 in 38th. Had a really nice satchel play that killed pretty much all the defenders on the midpoint from PKKA. So that just flipped the table really fast on them, and they ended up getting 5-0 and not being able to recover. But little glimpse of attacking flair we've seen from PKK. Now the weak point right now is being the defense. Can their defensive squad pick up the slack and be able to hold? And so far they haven't been able to do that. In last game, what we didn't see any attacking. It looked like they just brought everyone back on defense, and you know what? It didn't really make a difference
Yeah,
there either. So I'd like to see that aggressiveness again from their attacking squad. I think they can keep building on that, but they need to change up their strategy on defense if they want
yeah.
to be in these games longer.
I think the best way they're gonna challenge Core is to be a counter puncher. You're
Yeah,
not gonna out punch a puncher. These guys, these Core guys are just they're just offensively gifted. They're
yeah,
gonna they're
that's a nice way to put it. Yeah, they're
so
they're animals.
so the best thing to do is hopefully bait them in, um, and have your defense just kind of overwhelm and surround and swarm them, and then hopefully counterattack. Because if you're just going to go head up against Core, you're not going to win. I don't think there's really any team in here that's going to
Yeah,
go head up against Core and just outgun them. Honestly, I just don't
yeah.
see it.
Even good teams like Redline, we saw Redline has some really good FPS players, really good shooters. They were having a lot of trouble. They weren't able to even trade at a 1-to-1 with Core. last week. So PKK, I don't know about if they're going to be able to do it, but I mean, I'd love to see it happen. I'd love to see PKK win the middle fight. I mean, we saw it against the five. PKK got an artillery strike on Purple Heart Lane against a whole supply truck of the five, killing a whole squad and just essentially gifting them the middle point. Now they weren't able to hold that, and they ended up losing to a cheeky strat with some nice spawn timings
Right.
from the five that game. But anything's possible. All it takes is that one artillery round to land, and the fight's on its head. Now, if the PKK do get the midpoint, can they hold it? Time will tell. But
You're right. Then
but
we'll be losing our heads if that happens. But
yeah, I mean,
th-
yeah, we
they
will.
have the luxury, Heathen, of looking back at old tape and seeing, okay, this is what they
Yeah,
did last time to us. Let's not let this exact same scenario unfold the second time. So
yeah.
hopefully they're more prepared. If they know they're going to lose the mid, um, you got to understand that this core team is already preemptively preparing for
Oh yeah,
the next
everything's set
point.
in motion. Yeah, everything's set in motion. That's the thing I try to stress when we're talking about these teams. It's like a lot of the teams, some of the teams don't have the same issues. Obviously, there's some defense, there's some better offense, some better strategy. But the biggest thing that I've seen from Core that separates them from the rest of the field is their ability to commit timing attacks. So the planning is just there that the commander will tell his team, okay, respawn in X amount of time, and we're spawning there, and then everything above that, so the garrisons downrange are all ready to go, and so they can just be so fast on their
Yeah.
transitional play.
So
And it's like things like last week we saw with Redline. Like Redline's a really good team, but they made a simple error and they respawn at the wrong point. They respawn back at two garrisons to try and reclaim that midpoint when there was no need to. They need to just reset that attack. And if they had gone back on the defensive, they might have been able to hold
right.
that city. And what happened was Core just pushed halfway through the city and got a foothold on point. And after that, Core was able to go, okay, well, their garrisons are here and here. So let's just redeploy and do a flanking attack. They did that. They wiped out the garrisons, and that was all she wrote for that game. But
Yeah, their squad leaders are just so like dialed into the map. They know
yeah,
where they like they're all on the same page.
we talk about
That's
Crusader for a second. How many
sure. I love
clutch
Crusader.
plays? How many clutch plays has that man made? And we don't have the comms. We're not up on the commander comms, so we don't know if that's the commander telling him to do it or him just taking initiative.
He
But he
he's the
seems
spear.
he
He's the
seems to
tip of the
yeah he
spear
seems
in
to be able to
everything they do.
get inside points. I remember against on Carrington, was it against 116th, where he got behind, got the outposts behind, and got his whole squad. They rotated the squad and got the whole squad onto point. And basically, with one squad, he was able to hold the point in a sea of orange. So,
Yeah, I think
really nice
Viper and I
plays.
casted a match. Might have been week 6, I think, against 38th Purple Heart Lane, and
Okay.
he was all over their back line. I mean, I couldn't
So
believe how
Purple
quickly
Heart
he
Lane
was
was
in there.
actually 38th versus 116.
Oh,
Because
my
that
fault
that
then.
was the round where the two Tigers came back and just like destroyed everybody on the last point, and it actually almost allowed 38th to win the game. They pulled off the 3-2 defeat, but that's much better than 5-1 or 5-0 or 4-1, right? So
Sure, sure. So we're gonna see. I mean, can PKKA? I don't know how they set up their team. Um, like the defense cannot break. They can bend, don't break. I don't know if you change
mhm.
the structure of how you set up your
Yeah,
team. Do
it's
you put your best attackers now in defense and prepare for essentially their best assaulters, and allow your maybe the B team to go out and attack,
oh
and hopefully they can gain, and then you
yeah.
get some squads that can make
I don't
progress,
think
and you
you can
can
do
jump in
that.
and out
You can't
squads.
do that in the HPL. You have to keep teams off their or on their toes, right? You can't just let them settle in. If PKK last week essentially did that, they didn't put anybody forward. Their attacks didn't have any kind of strength behind them, and they got surrounded and their garrisons got taken out, and they lost the points one after the other. You need to be attacking. You need to be probing. You need to be causing a ruckus for the enemy team, doing what they don't expect. Um, and for their defense, it's so close because even on games where they've lost 5-0, their defense has just been so close to being successful. I remember Herc and Forest, PKK versus 116th. They got beaten by two airheads. Now, if they had had guys on the back line with their head on a swivel, they would have spotted those airheads out. Twice in a row, they got the airhead special, and they had guys to defend it. Like the first airhead was there was a panther overlooking the valley. He could have easily turned around and destroyed and stopped that attack, but he was looking the wrong way, and nobody was looking up at the sky. Um,
Yeah, I
the
think
second,
that's
yeah, the second airhead was in the forest, and they had a full squad on the airhead, but they didn't spot it out, and they didn't look to find the spawn of the guys who were filtering in. So they got overwhelmed by numbers. So
so most likely the airhead's going to go in like two rows deep, right?
yeah,
Now that I think defense is super important. Don't defend like what's directly in front of you. That's that flanking squad that gets all the way on that back line that puts up the garrison 2 grids deep that you're going to have to worry about. That's the group that you didn't see. And I
yeah,
think if you're defending, you can have most of your defenders behind the strong point and just send guys out and just touch the enemy, find where they're coming from, and then you can bring the guys from the back. You don't want to get encircled. That's what a
yeah.
lot of the time
No.
happens. They get encircled.
Well, Core's so aggressive though. They're not like other teams. They're very, very aggressive with their placements of their outposts and their garrisons. So when other teams, you'll see them shy away from things. They'll put their garrisons and spawns a little further away. Core will go straight up the middle. They're confident in their gameplay and their FPS play. They're
You
confident in their
have to be to
commander and
go
their
that
squad
to use that
leaders.
tactic. Yeah, to use
They're
that
they're
tactic,
straight
you
up with
have
it.
to.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they're saying they're daring you to challenge them. I mean, they're not even trying to be sneaky about it. They're not trying to flank
No.
around. They're just saying we're going to go right gun to gun, and we're going to be better than you. We're going to beat you. And if your OP placement is anywhere near where we're heading, you're done.
Mhm.
So definitely OPs need to be behind the strong point
Yeah.
because if you're going to lose those initial gunfights, you want to have a second chance at getting at them.
Yeah, and things like talking about going up the middle. I watched last week Redline versus Core as a full squad of Core pushed up a ditch versus a Panther, and I don't know if the Panther didn't see them, but they crawled on their face for about 5 to 10 minutes to get onto that
I watched
midpoint.
that clip. Yeah, such
Yeah,
discipline. Yeah, they laid
they're
prone next to the stone wall. I remember
they're
seeing that.
playing the long game. They're not just like they place their spawns close, but they're not just running in blind. Like the discipline to stay on your face and to crawl. And it was a misplay from Redline to
Yeah,
not have anybody there watching that flank. But
sure.
props to Core because that's what won them
It's a
that
numbers
midpoint.
game.
Yeah,
It's a numbers game. No matter what you say, whether you're killing people or not killing people, but if you can overload a sector,
yeah,
whether it be in defense or on offense, your bodies count. And
yeah,
knowing when and if you're trying to time up with artillery, if you see, let's say, a back garrison and you're just one squad and it's
mhm,
far away and you're on a flat map, open area like a foy, you're going to just lay discipline and you're going to wait for artillery to either give you smoke or artillery fire to get in. And they time that up. They're so patient. They wait. They have
yep.
confidence in their guys. They know what they're doing. They're competent guys. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think we've seen any shaky moments, even from Core when Redline did their little sneaky Lux play with the shooting into the spawn on Foy. I believe they killed 2 supply trucks, and that's what enabled Redline to go up 3-2. But Core just they stay composed. They didn't crack under the pressure, even though from the clips that we saw, they were screaming at each other over command chat. I actually had a chance to talk to the commander, and he said he told his guys that you don't need to go up that road. That's a possibility of what might happen, and it did happen. But they just came back. It was calm, cool, collected. No problem. They lost the midpoint. So what? They put their plan into action to take it back, and it only took them about 10 to 15 minutes to take that midpoint back. So I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know who's going to be able to unseat Core, but they're going to need to bring that same level of aggressiveness and decisiveness and team play to the mix. Like,
Again, you have
yeah.
to watch film on these guys and say, okay, you have to almost predict and anticipate where they're gonna be
Mm,
and wait there for them. If you're both going for the same building, I'm almost gonna say I'm gonna let them take it and surround it and just try and destroy them while they're in the building. I
I,
mean, I don't
I
know
don't
how
know,
to.
man. I'd almost say
It's
you play more, so you play more Hell Let Loose. You play like games that can improve your aim because their FPS skills are on another level to some of these teams out here. And teams like Redline only have about like a squad and a half of guys who have that level of FPS skill. they need to be training in not necessarily just playing hell let loose, but playing like clickers where that tests your your aiming, where it improves your aiming, so they can get to that next level of FPS skill to challenge. Because if you only have one squad and you're going up against four squads or more where they all have that skill, you're just
Right.
gonna lose that numbers game, like you said. And
They
also, yeah, like the communication, decisiveness, like how do you improve on those aspects? How do you get better at that?
How do you get better? You just know what your players. It's almost like you're a role player. You know what you're good at, and you don't try to do anything more, and you stick to it, and that's what you do. And they can depend on you, and you're reliable. I mean, as a squad leader, I want to know that my guys, they know when I'm asking you to do something, it's almost instantaneous. They can almost read what I'm gonna say before I even say
Yeah,
it. So, um,
that's
I guess
funny.
the
Funny you
level of
say that.
understanding.
The role players, there's a running meme in the core Discord about role play versus FPS. So I'm sure we'll
Yeah,
be able to clip that one and
yeah,
upload that
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, no. And by the way, if anybody wants a funny time, you should definitely head over to Core's Discord and their memes channel. It is a hoot. It's pretty funny place. I don't know how many people they have. If they have a room in the back of that Discord with people just pumping out memes, but every day there, after every game in the HPL, there's like 20 fresh memes about what just happened. So definitely
Right
check
on.
that out. Looks like we're about to flip here. Oh, we're 202, a little over. There we go. There's the flip. So we'll be joining in game very soon for Utah Beach Core versus PKK. All right, what are you thinking here? Are we gonna see some crazy plays from Core? Are they gonna do something that we haven't seen yet from them, or just gonna be a status quo? Are they gonna just kind
They're
of
just going to look to roll. I don't think they're looking to play. They want to get in and out. I don't think they're. Yeah.
not gonna play with their food? What about from PKK? Are they gonna do something insane? Like, are they commit everybody to that middle point to win it? Because we've seen
They
even
they need sector control. They're, depending on what mid comes up.
yeah,
Um, it's nice to go straight to the strong point,
yeah,
but it only guarantees that you'll continue to take down or show cap progress. But if you get completely encircled by your enemy and they slowly move in and just grenade you out or MG you out of buildings, you, and you don't have and you have your OPs not in good positions, like you want them to be in those key buildings. There's areas north and south depending on the
on the point, yeah.
strong point. I would definitely put my OPs. I would not put my OP in the strong point, even on the start of a match.
All right, well, we got a spicy strong point for you guys today as we go in game. We have
But the factory buildings.
WN4. Yeah.
Oh yeah, baby.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
It's gonna be a good one.
This is honestly my favorite of all the midpoints.
Yeah.
WN7 is just a hard nut to crack. It's not very fun, honestly.
Yeah.
I've been on the receiving end of getting my butt kicked on that hard point. And the
Mm.
chapel, it's cool, but it's not WN4. WN4 has so many cool options with
Yeah.
trenches and factory buildings and
Cover
there's
and concealment.
cover. Yeah, yeah. It just adds to like that. And it's not just the tankers aren't going to have a field day. They're probably going to do well, but it at least allows the infantry to feel like they can get in there and make a difference.
We'll switch back to your pretty face for 2 minutes as we get started in here. Yeah,
And
no,
shave a little extra tight for you today. Hope you like.
no shaving. No shaving allowed, man.
Yeah, that's right, brother. You like it. You like it woolly. Gotta
Yeah, I
put the
mean,
oil on the
I'm up in
beard, make it look
Canada,
glistening. This is just
seeing both
basically
teams
the
on the
editor.
map.
This is just basically the nice version of the editor. This is what the level designers see when they're creating maps.
All right, as we're going for the second time, apologies for the delay there. We got Core getting sector control, but I do not see where Core is on the map right now. It looks like PKKA is making that initial first push, and they are stalling cap progress on mid momentarily.
Yeah, I'm seeing this. I'm seeing a very good start. If PKKA can get into the buildings
Yeah,
just north and engage Core and keep them out of the sector.
hold the phone there, because that artillery is absolutely wrecking members of Core here, and the only one left on point is going to be, well, I cannot pronounce that name for sure. Let's go on board with Soviet Viking as he pushes.
We're gonna find out how good this Core FPS is. because there's
He's
quite a
patching.
few PKKA guys
Captain
in
Flint.
the chat.
Oh,
Take that, brother.
that's
got
only
your
one kill
Band-Aid.
though. He's gonna need a lot more if they're gonna hold
Of
this
course.
point.
But he feels good about that kill.
Oh yeah.
Still seeing PKKA winning the
Senseless,
cap.
taking out one. No, that's Core. It's blue. Core's winning the cap. Yeah.
Apologies then. All right, we're on core side. Sorry.
Mhm. So Core just like this is what I see from Core every game in, game out. They put so many bodies on that midpoint that they overrun it. Why other teams don't do this, I'm not sure, but it is definitely a winning strategy. They are holding that mid tower, and actually PKKA is stalling cap progress right now. Momentarily
Well, they have
though,
the church,
only momentarily.
they're in the strong point on
Yeah.
Chapel, but just north in those houses, like I said, map control, very important. Where Core Zoom is and Chan, those buildings up north, super important to holding Chapel.
Yep, and that's
And
gonna be a
they're-
3-2 for Core off the bat.
Yeah. Now, what's happening? What is Core? Let's get pumped because it's gonna happen. Like where is the big? Like what's the next point we talking, Ethan? I haven't even had a chance to.
So we're at
digest
Hill 5. We got Crusader
5's the next
already
one.
there. That was a really nice play there from Core. Look at how they just surrounded that church. PKK still has control of the church, but Core has control of everything around it.
At this point, if I'm on the church, it's redeploy. Forget about it. There's too many guys there. We need you in back defense. Core is one hell of a offensive juggernaut.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of the chapel and help us get solidified on this back line. Hill 5 needs to be taken care of. Garrisons and OPs need to be in the right places. If you're gonna let Crusader just run in your backfield, it's gonna be an awful day.
Is he gonna put an outpost right on point here after killing Shavishkin? See if Shavishkin can do something here. Crusader's a really good guy though. Quite decent on the FPS side of things. He's
just searching for OPs. He's not even looking really to engage too much.
No.
They're already getting cap progress. They're 20% cap on Hill.
Yeah, because they just walked across the field. PKK didn't even get it set up on their second point. As we pan out here, you'll see on our left the course literally just walking across the field. There's nobody from PKK on point here. I don't quite know.
We had a large spawn come in, just what is that, east?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
the garrison though, but oh my gosh, artillery absolutely demolishing that spawn, and about 3/4 of everyone who spawned in there is dead now, and Core has complete control of the hard point right now.
Yeah.
Strong point.
There is an allied tank if we just zoom in just slightly north.
Yeah, you can see him right there.
Yeah, I wonder if he's gonna pull back and just try and help out his infantry.
He's getting hit right now from artillery and shelling from a German tank. You can see the Panther over here putting him work. Raisin Herald and MILF Hunter 3000. What a name. Okay, but yeah, no, this point's gonna be going to Core, and it looks like they're gonna get set up with a garrison right on point here. Okay, no, that's from PKK, but too little too late on the supplies there. His Core's literally just walking into point.
There, you're literally gonna take them down. What?
Yeah, right away.
That's not sector control. You've already you're 50%, 40% cap losing, and you're dropping him on the point.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do that.
Wow. And where was the defensive line there from PKK? They didn't get anybody set up on the middle. I feel like Core just literally walked down the middle of this map.
Yeah, they did. They did.
And that's going to be a quick 4-1 here from Core. Wow. This is going to be a...
Well, they are contesting right now, Ethan.
They are contesting, but...
They are putting up a fight.
So, yeah, but look at Core's just pushing off the point. They're identifying where that contestation is coming from, and they're just going to arty it. Yeah, they're just going to arty it. They've got Soakses and Rossi, Mr. Rossi, pushing out, looking for outposts, and they're not going to find anything. And what they do find, they're going to take out. Look, because Rossi here is just going to drop a few. I believe he's going to be able to stop any kind of counterattack coming on this side. And yeah, we're about 80% cap progress and not stopping anytime soon. As that already is absolutely wrecking.
At this point, PKKA needs to just pull the brakes, get everybody redeployed.
Yeah,
it's a lost cause. Let's not get 5-0 real quick, please. Redeploy on the back garrison.
Man,
It sucks.
our startup was
And
looking like it's going to be double the time of this match.
and the mid was
PKK,
getting capped. I just don't
yeah.
get it.
Well,
Why?
they didn't commit enough bodies to the middle as Core goes up 4-1, and this is probably going to be the quickest HP Welch match we've seen in a long time, unless PK can really do something here.
Yeah,
Last point is Uncle Red. We already have Commander set up over here.
Let me just go back, just take 2 seconds, Ethan. I'm just going to say that in the process of Hill 5 being taken 80, 85%, we started to see cap progress on Chapel. Now, I don't know how many
Yeah.
bodies were on Chapel, but when you're 80% cap, there should be nobody there. You shouldn't even be making cap progress at that point.
Yeah. Look, it's like we said, man. You got to commit those bodies to the attack. And look at this. Core's being so bold. As they do lose, he does get killed there. If they could get a garrison set up on that bunker, the game would be over before it even started.
Yeah. This is where you need to spread out in the sector, because they're looking to cover all 4 points of the sector. Dropping with that truck.
Look at this. Look how fast Core is out there. As they do set a bombing run down. Yeah, that's
Core's bombing run. Perfect
that
timing.
is going to kill a lot of members of PKKA
Beautiful.
here. Oh
Wonderful.
my gosh. What a devastating bombing run there.
Hey,
and
as a commander, that's a beautiful.
That was.
He ran
Look at the timing attack. Soviet, Havaled, Starabil, Vortex, following that up immediately and taking the void that was left by that bombing run.
Core doesn't use a whole lot of diversion. They just, look, we're going to bomb here and come see us, because after that, we're going to pop up everywhere. They're not trying to be sneaky about anything. They got the building to the left there, that busted up building where.
Yep, and we're already seeing
Mr.
cap
Meth
progress
is.
on the last point. How do they do this? They literally walked down the map. They walked to Chapel, they walked to Hill 5, and now they walked straight into the last point here before PKK could get anybody on point. This is insane.
The commander's about to touch the water. Look. Harold is about to just go for a swim. He's about to just run straight out into the water. Goodness.
This is insane. Last spawn wave coming in from PKK, temporarily halting the.
Now that is a garrison, because they were smart enough to put that up. Because right now, once you lose your last point, you don't have an HQ to spawn off. So good for them. They had something.
This is the last ditch fight from PKK here, but they are losing bodies quick, and the cap progress is starting up again.
They have the high ground, whereas high ground, and they're shooting down on these guys, PKK guys, as they're trying to make their way into the strong point, but they're just not going to cooperate. Core's like, no, sir, you guys are going to have to go back to the drawing board.
They are indeed.
No
as the
mercy.
bombing run from PKA comes in, but that's going to be a little too late. Some grenades go off on that garrison, but it's only a matter of time. Look at that surround attack from Core here, just coming around the whole backside.
Oh goodness! Cat Dog just took out like 4 dudes on that garrison.
He did. That was, oh my god, just
Delta Fox.
Beautiful play from Core. The last 2 members of PKA go down in the sector, and that is going to be the game. Wow.
Is this a record? I mean, we're at 15 minutes. These guys are trying to beat 16.
Oh my gosh. I'm just like lost for words right now.
I guess they had a bet. Hey man, we got to beat 16 minutes. We got to do it, and they're gonna do it right now in 14 minutes.
That's absolutely insane. I don't. Yeah. Where was the defensive setup off the start? As Core wins at 5-0.
That's like a warm up. That's just getting warmed up. That's like pregame. You know what I mean? You haven't even gotten to the match. Jeez, it's over.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there from PKK. Core does have better pings though. If we look at the right side, PKK is rocking like 120, 100. Core's all in the.
There's guys without even a kill. I mean, look at that. There's a bunch of squad leaders without kills. Werner Voss doesn't even have a kill as a squad leader.
Wow.
They literally just took away key buildings, got the kills at the right time. It wasn't like a long
My face is just shocked
match.
right now. I'm shocked. Honestly, PKK never got set up. And here's the thing: they if they sent more people to that midpoint, could they have fought off longer on midpoint? I think they could have. But just the way Core surrounded them, they identified, they had people in the church. That's no problem to us. We're gonna push around them, take the fields. I love how their combat width is on the battle. Whenever you look at core playing, it's never, we're all stuck in one little building
Right.
like that.
They
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 just
don't
spread
stay
out. They cover
fixated.
everything.
Right. They're not fixated on one point. They know their roles. Like if I'm in this squad, these are our four objectives for the map. We're gonna run the entire
Yeah.
4 row, and we're gonna hit these four buildings on our way to the promised land,
Yeah,
to
man.
the ocean.
Yeah.
You know, there's no. They know
It's
exactly what they're
crazy.
doing,
There's
and they
not much we can
execute
say about that
beautifully.
game. There's not much we can say about it except for Core absolutely dominating, beating their previous record, 14 minutes to 5-0. Are you gonna be around for the next one, Redline versus BTS2? I believe we got that in 45
Absolutely,
minutes.
absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
BTS,
BST2.
BST2,
BTS2. They're not a
BST2.
Korean pop
Yeah, I
group.
was gonna.
They're
Thank you
they're
for
a loose
clarifying that.
competitive team.
BST2, 501st,
Yeah.
and the
Redline.
line
The
now.
line, Redline. BR1 Redline TL.
We're
There's
gonna
a lot
flip
of
a coin on.
names. It's
We're
very
gonna flip a
confusing.
coin on that. I think that's gonna be a great match. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm really excited
Who do you have?
because
Who do you
two
have for
good
it?
teams. You know, there was a time when I thought Red Line, the line, unstoppable for the Americas, and I thought they played and they lost. Right, I do believe earlier in the season on.
Mhm.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it Herkin? They played on Herkin and lost 4-1.
Yeah, it was a close game. I mean, BST2, that Hurricane, that South Point there is on the advantage of the Axis side, and Redline was playing Axis side. So even though BST2 501 was able to take that point, they weren't able to hold it successfully. So we'll see in this next game if they can. And I guess we'll be back in a few minutes to cover that game. But we're gonna take a break here. Any
Short
final
break.
thoughts about the PK game from you?
Uh,
No.
don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. Just stay in
Nah.
there, guys. I mean, just
Watch tape.
finish what you started. Finish what you started.
Watch
Don't be
tape.
disheartened by it. You're playing against the best
Yeah.
damn team in the whole entire Hell Let Loose. Don't hang your head. These guys, they're it's their year. It might be their year. Who knows? Don't hang your head.
I
Just keep
mean, we'll
working.
see. We'll see what can happen. Anything can happen between now and then. We have, a couple more months of this competition before playoffs. Anything can happen in playoffs. Maybe we'll see some crazy strats like the likes that Redline pulled off last week with their Luke's play where they destroyed two off the get go. But who knows? Anyways, for myself, Heathen Hammer, and for Gadarian, we'll be back covering BST2 501 ES versus Redline here on Utah Beach in about half an hour. See you
See you
guys then.
shortly.
Oh.